Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys, and today we're going to talk about it. The car is finally fixed. We've been through so much shenanigans in the last 3 months with this car, and I want to sit down in the car and let's talk about everything from the start to finish, pretty much the issues that I ran into with my Mercedes E63s. Guys, hit that intro. Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you. Alright guys, I'm not gonna auto start the car because I don't need to, because we're just in the car talking, because I don't want you guys looking at me. Alright, so first thing, shout out to my whole Boost in Motion family. Thank you guys for your support. And if you're new to the Boost in Motion channel, I'm Boost in Motion, and I'm a current owner of a Mercedes 2019 E63s that had a blown motor, a blown transmission, and had another issue, which is one of the reasons why when the car was delivered back, the transmission started overheating again. All right, so let's start from pretty much, guys, day one. First thing, this whole episode or saga that I have going on with this car, I'm going to have the link on above. I'll probably make a playlist from start to finish on what happened with this E63s and what I had to deal with when it comes to Mercedes of Brooklyn and Mercedes of Manhattan dealership and how they have terrible customer service. So, guys, let me go. So, when I first purchased this car from Brooklyn Auto Sales, I purchased it pre-owned. It wasn't brand new in November. This was my late birthday present for myself, guys. So that's why I went and got the car. Cool. So I bought it from Brooklyn Auto Sales. I did not get a PPI. This was my fault. I hold myself accountable for this because it's $80,000-$90,000 car. I should have got a PPI. But number one is a lot of people recommended Adam from Brooklyn Auto Sales because I've known at least 10 people who've done business with him, and they really haven't had any issues or any after effects. He really looks out for them. Plus, Adam's been in the car community for quite a long time. It isn't a regular dealership. Cool. So, went and checked out the car, looked at the Carfax. Everything was A-okay. Drove the car and everything, scanned the car. Everything's good to go. Now, the only issue that I noticed when I first got the car was it was super low. Like, it was super low. It was, like, slammed to the ground. So, well, at least for me, and I was like, why is it so low? And that's when I found out the car had a suspension module, whatever it's called. Cool. So, moving forward. Drove the car home. Everything was fine. Everything felt pretty okay with the car. Alignment was a little off, kind of like how it is now, which I'll talk about a little later. So within that week, I went and got the alignment done. Just had a look inspected on the car. And what I realized in one of my old videos was there was missing bolts on the exhaust. And I'm like, oh, this car must have had downpipes or something, which is super weird to me, which I didn't understand. Cool. Moving forward. So a week later, I had the time, and I said, hey, about a week later, I drove the car at least 2 to 3 times in that week. And the last time before I ran into the blown transmission issue, I tried to launch the car. I'm talking about, really, honestly, I've never really tried to launch it. And when I launched it, I realized is that the revs would just rev, and it'll go through the gears, but the car wasn't really moving. Like, it was moving, but it was like the car was slipping, and the car was blowing off. So I'm like, is that traction issue? And I couldn't understand it. But I drove the car normally. It would go into every gear. But it's only when I put the car in launch control from a dig. And when I launched it regular foot brake, it wasn't really no issue. Cool. So I had the time, took the car out to Floyd Bennett, and I shot the video on reviewing the car. Pretty much, basically, I reviewed the car, pros and cons and everything. And I said, you know what? It's empty space. I have the time. Let me just figure out what this launch control is. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. And right when I did it, I put it to about 3,000 RPM. Boom. It's going through the gears. Bing, 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 bing. The car is only moving about 5 miles an hour. And I said, oh, my God. And from then on, that's when everything started. I ended up contacting Brooklyn Auto Sales. I ended up contacting Max Motorsports from Florida. And also, I'll say AMG NYC from Mercedes of, I forgot, he's Mercedes of Long Island. But pretty much these are people in the community and pretty much with the issues I was dealing with. They told me to get it to the Mercedes dealership as fast as possible. Funny thing is, that day I was talking to AMG NYC about the warranty on this car, and I thought the warranty was actually going to expire in 2023. No, it actually expires in 2022. And guess what? It expired that day. That day was the last day to use the warranty. So I had to get this car to the Mercedes dealership before 6 to open a ticket. At which, if you guys go check the video, I ended up getting the car there just in time, in the nick of time. The car sat there for 1 month at Mercedes of Brooklyn. They wanted to give me back a broken car. And I told them, no, it is your car with your warranty. You fix it. They ended up finally telling the truth and saying, hey, this car actually was worked on by Mercedes of Manhattan, where they ended up replacing the transmission. Replacing the motor. And I was like, the motor? What are you talking about? The motor was blown. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, Mercedes of Manhattan messed up paperwork because this motor was actually blown because guess what, guys? The last owner, or the first owner of this car, went to an outside oil change place, and guess what happened? They didn't put the drain plug all the way back in. And because the oil came out the motor ended up blowing, and that oil change place had to pay through their insurance to get this car a new motor. And Mercedes of Manhattan didn't document this car getting a new motor. So this car essentially has a motor with less than 5,000 miles on it and brand new turbos. Cool, let's continue. So now Mercedes of Manhattan said, okay, we made the mistake because of the missing bolts and because when Mercedes of Brooklyn dropped the transmission oil pan, right, they found very little transmission fluid in there. And of course, other stuff that was destroyed. So Mercedes of Brooklyn said, we're not fixing this. This is Mercedes of Manhattan fault because how you guys replaced the motor? Didn't document it, and now this guy has a blown transmission. Come on, Mercedes of Manhattan. So the car was sent to Mercedes of Manhattan. They said the transmission was only about a week out. And that car sat there for about another 6 to 8 weeks. I finally got the car back almost a month and a half later, and then it was dropped off to me right to my house right over there. And guess what happens after that? Drove the car on the block. Drove the car to the gym, came back, transmission was overheating. Called Mercedes man, they came and dropped another rental or courtesy car for me, took it back in. They inspected the car, found out that it was an auxiliary transmission fluid pump. Pretty much the pump went bad, and that's why the transmission coolant was getting hotter, which I did look up for this car is also another common issue. So in the future, I will be talking about some of the common issues for this car because I've been researching like crazy within the last year. But in the last 4 to 5 months of owning this car, yes, guys, it's been insanely ridiculous on what I've dealt with. And I'm that guy who dealt with all the broken issues, and I know how to deal with it. Most of you guys are scared to get this car. I'm going to say it straight up on video. If I didn't have warranty, you guys will be effing screwed, and I will be screwed. So I'm always going to recommend it. If you can with these high-end cars, you get warranty. I get it, my Infinity brothers. It's expensive to replace a VR30, but these motors are $20,000 to $30,000. Transmission's about $10,000 to $15,000. I'm telling you, it's expensive. So all in all, it's been actually quite a while. All the videos that you guys seen from before were in chronological order over the last 3 to 4 months. This video is actually one of the most updated videos. And from now on, there really won't be any so much backlog videos on my experience with the E63s. Now that this saga is over, I am happy and I thank God it's finally over. I don't want to deal with no more of the nonsense. The car still has warranty because I had to buy a warranty because the car was sent from Mercedes of Brooklyn to Mercedes of Manhattan, which would have opened up a whole new ticket, and Mercedes of corporate could have wanted to flag the car and not do stuff in good faith. So the car is still warranted till the end of this year, and guess what, guys? I'm gonna fucking enjoy this motherfucking shit, and I'm gonna beat the fucking shit out of this motherfucking car because it gave me so much problems, but it wasn't the car's fault. It was everybody who touches its fault. Someone didn't put the drain plug in, motor blew, which also killed the turbos. Somebody forgot to put the transmission fluid in when they put the transmission back in with the new motor. Then it broke on me. And then for whatever reason, when they installed everything, as I said in my last video, there was no coolant in the coolant line for the to cool the transmission fluid. It was empty. Everyone else fucked up on this car. And I gotta say is it's not the car's fault. It is extensively the people at Mercedes of Manhattan, the shitty service at Mercedes of Brooklyn, and any oil change spot that forgets to put the fucking drain plug back in. So guys, outside that, in the next upcoming videos, you're going to see me fuck around with this car, and I'm going to beat on this bitch. So you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. Sorry if your kids was around. I really apologize, but this saga is over, and I'm super excited, and I'm happy. So guys, I appreciate it. You can add me at boostedmotion.g, Facebook, and boostedmotion@gmail.com. Otherwise than that, guys, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always banging with your boy Boost and continue to support the channel. Because outside of that, guys, you guys have a good day. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Do appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. You can also check out the 2 links I posted for some of my other videos. Also, on top of that, if you want to purchase some Boosted Motion merch, definitely check the link that I posted also. And finally, if you've been watching all my videos and you enjoy them, please hit the link to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.